statements that they would like to make, and then Peter would speak. Will be the final. Will give the final comment on this topic. Ariane, have you got anything you'd like to say? 30 seconds.
I'm not going to give any concluding remarks. I've made them, but I would like to give everybody a suggestion. We were talking about communication, and we were also talking about biodiversity. I don't know how many people have actually watched on YouTube. There's lots of videos of animals. You know, I discovered a capybara, which is from Latin America, petting zoos in Japan. I discovered that the honey badger is a very, very tough character. And these things are not getting used by people in conservation. You should look at your animals, your plants, and use them much better in your marketing campaign, because they cannot just be viral videos on YouTube. They can be much more than that.
Yeah, much has been said about public-private cooperation and the importance of it. But I just want to stress that from my experience, what is also important is public cooperation, because what you see happening a lot of times is that people are just looking at their sectors, you know, especially, you know, when you have what I mentioned earlier, the National Park Administration set up and then the tourism department set up. Those, you know, working together, this is a very big challenge, you know, for public actors themselves actually getting their acts together.
The GPST has some really exciting goals and a mission that I really believe in. So I would like to ask all of us to spend time during the next 2 days to think about how to engage the private sector more in what we're doing here, and help them, help you understand that they're not afraid to be engaged. They'd love to be engaged, and help everyone understand that having all stakeholders at the table is a win. It's a win for everybody. Going back to the case in Belize, there was resistance. Not everyone agreed on everything. You know, crews didn't have the same views as tour operators. But in the end, the result is Belize is 6 points up in arrivals, and that happened in only 2 quarters, because everybody came together and everybody had the same view, the same core view on what the vision on marketing and that destination's position in the world should be.
I feel very encouraged by this discussion here. I think there has been a lot of positive thinking here in the room to really look at linking tourism and conservation, and where we can produce commonly and in partnership within the global partnership synergy and real positive impact. As Ara Pubala said in the very beginning, this is about focusing on the good cases, on the positive potential which tourism has to sustain our common values in terms of ecosystems and biodiversity. And I see this also as a stimulating, encouraging example of some of the members which are representing projects within the Global Partnership Sustainable Tourism, that they are increasingly work together and see common goals and produce increasing synergies. I would see in the long term also that we should, within the partnership, on the one side, focus on governments and highlighting the cases, the good policies of the leading countries, like we talked about Costa Rica, like we probably also in the context of the coming Conservation Congress here in Seoul will more talk about South Korea. We heard about France. There are other countries, particularly also in the developing world, where there is more understanding that tourism contributes enormously to the economies of those countries. And that leads also again to the dimension which has been presented by Manuel Jung from the development organizations' perspectives. There is a lot of further potential that on the one side, countries can be in a positive competition to highlight their best policies in this direction. There is the potential of that the increased relationship to the private sector, and as Richard explained so valuable, the enormous potential for using the distribution channels of the private sector to outreach and also to produce incentives, also economical incentives. And last but not least, I think Ariane has led to the very concrete examples which we see in Brazil, both in terms of what we can learn positively and also negatively about that. And that still leads me also to whether Brazil with Rio Plus 20 and the engagement of GPST can bring us forward to, after 20 years discussing what is sustainable development, that we have equal understanding of real indicators what sustainable development is in all three dimensions of sustainable development. I like to stop here and see this little workshop as the third workshop in the project of linking tourism, and we will gather further the concrete examples which exist in the world of LTNC cases, and we'll use the lessons which we learned here on communication tools and incentives. And finally, I would like to thank all the panelists, which giving them also a little gift. First of all, Deidre for the excellent moderation. So you should get the first UNEP Grid Arendal cup, which is a very famous cup. And when you drink through that, you will always drink the philosophy of linking tourism and conservation. So then to Ariane, that she will make further a major contribution to making Rio Plus 20, and with all her background in the field of linking tourism and conservation, a major success. So thank you and keep it. So, Manuel and Richard as well, you drink from the linking tourism and conservation, and will look to further positive competition and cooperation between all the players in the global partnership of sustainable tourism. Thank you.
Thank you very much for all your comments. Thank you for the panel.
Thank you, Ms. Sherland, and thank you for keeping excellent time. We are back on schedule. Ladies and gentlemen, please give our moderator and panelists another big round of applause for what was a very engaging discussion. So now it is time for lunch. I'm sure that many of you are looking forward to lunch. Lunch will be served in the border room on the lower level from now to 2 o'clock. And we will begin the second session at 2 o'clock sharp. So please be here at the conference hall by 1:50. Thank you very much, and I hope you will enjoy your lunch.